Yo, yo, it's in Darwin on a little e-bike scooter thing. Struggling. I think I wouldn't mind if I lost a couple of pounds, but check it out. We're going to cruise into the city centre. I'm coming up from Mindle Beach. So there's a bit of a trek up the hill, and then I'll show you around Darwin City. It's not a very big city, but it's alright. We could go down Cullen Bay, but just to keep it safe on this scooter, I am riding with one hand. Whoops. Nearly had a stack there, but oh well, all good. Keep on trucking. I actually ran up here yesterday. I did 5k run and it was so hot. I did another one this morning, but the other way. But yeah, while I've got you here, I'm going to talk about how I managed to quit alcohol and my relationship with alcohol over the years, and how I got to this point, which for me, I class it as freedom, and how I managed to obtain freedom in my life. Push off start on these things to get going. Jump start. We're off again. This scooter's dying in there. There we go. So, alcohol. In my family growing up, I came from just a traditional, hopefully the wind's not too much on this. I came from a traditional, I was adopted into an English family that settled here. In the 80s, they adopted me at 3 weeks old. For reasons I still don't know. My natural parents didn't think they could raise me, even though they had plenty of money and stuff like that. Maybe they just wanted to keep their life, I don't know, who knows. Maybe I was an illegitimate child. Who knows? But so I was adopted into just a typical English family. My dad, mum and dad loved to drink at night. And so for me, alcohol was kind of just a normal thing. Christmas, birthdays, I'd watch my dad, enjoy a drink after work, a couple of beers. And that kind of, that was just a norm for me, a lot of my friends. Obviously growing up in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't the internet and all the awareness and stuff like that. Maybe I should get on the footpath. Up on the footpath. Maybe I should do this face finding thing. Yeah, so growing up as a teenager, I remember some of us got the Pantera video when I was 15 or 16. Obviously they're just like drinking, having a good old time, partying and stuff, and being impressionable young teens. That's what I thought. That there was, that must be how you have fun. So at the first chance we could. Me and my mates went and got a carton of beer, even though it tasted disgusting, listening to Pantera and trying to emulate what we were seeing on the home video. So that was obviously a fun weekend, even though we were like vomiting and beer didn't taste very nice. But we, as young teenagers, we thought we were adults, and the experience of being drunk and listening to that music was awesome. And that started a trend that lasted nearly 20 years, or probably longer actually. So as growing up, as getting closer into adulthood, parties and girls and things like that, there's more opportunities to drink, hormones kicking in, stuff like that. And obviously, as testosterone as a young man, you just want to be cool and stuff like that. So I got to, by the time I was 18, it was like full blown drinking every weekend, Friday, Saturday night. Also, smoking weed was now a thing that came into our friendship group. And also, not only smoking weed, other things like meth, snorting speed and ecstasy, stuff like that. So that was all happening, 18 years old. I didn't really come from like a poor area, but it wasn't like a rich area. A lot of my friends were like well off, but my friendship group had a bit of a mix of everyone. But everyone was doing this. It was quite normal. By this stage, the year is like 1997, 98. And now school's ending, getting jobs. Now we have money. Now the drinking Friday, Saturday night turns into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're all getting, we've got a taste for beer by this stage. And, taking speed and meth just to keep drinking was pretty normal. And it was, being that age and just having that much dopamine release in your system, it's very, very addictive behaviour. Cigarettes, weed, all that kind of stuff. It's just normal life. Everyone's no one's really looking down on it. Everyone kind of thinks it's cool. The nightclub scene is big. And yeah, I kind of fell into this thing where it was like whoever could take the most or whatever was the best. Now when I reached my 18th birthday, I had a party, and we all took some acid trips, and that was the first night really that depression kind of came into my life, when I realised that I was adopted and started thinking about the reality of what happened there, and that there's I came out of another woman's body than the lady that I called mum, who is my mum, but and that just caused me, it just kind of imploded my thoughts, and I just broke down at my birthday party in front of everyone, tripping balls, crying, and not my finest moment. But once that depression came into my life for the first time, it never left with that subject, ever. I still suffer with it from today, over 24 years later. So I then joined a band. The first band I was in was called The Undermined. Just a band we made with my mates. We used to get wasted as, still again copying Pantera and the vulgar videos and stuff, but we were all musically talented people. We managed to make some songs and play gigs, and now we had like the spotlight was on us, a little bit of local fame, I guess, being in the local metal scene, and that just continued the trend of wanting to drink. As you can see, Darwin's behind me. I'll flip the camera around. It's a new venue, Sweethearts. New block of pubs here. So yeah, with the band I started to get some attention from girls, which never really happened in my life before that. Like the true typical me, fall in love with the first girl that shows me any attention. And my father died when I was 21. He actually died of some complications kind of centered around alcohol use, actually. He ended up having cirrhosis of the liver, some cancer and stuff like that. And rather than learning from the experience, it was so depressing and upsetting at the time. What did I do? Turned to the alcohol. The night he died, I got so drunk and stayed that way for a while. Funeral, I was, just drunk, starting fights and stuff with my neighbours, and just being a total unhinged idiot. Ended up doing a little tour with that band, The Undermined, and then for whatever reason that kind of broke up, and then I joined another band called Double Dragon, which kind of, the gigs were bigger, the stakes were a little bit higher, more kind of money was spent on the recording and stuff like that. The guys in Double Dragon were more kind of known in the local scene, or in a different kind of scene. The Undermine was more like the northern suburbs crew. This Double Dragon were kind of more based out of the city. And yeah, I mean, I always suffered with anxiety and stuff. I always loved music, hard. I'm a fully musical person. But being on stage just caused me this extreme anxiety. And so what did I use to numb that pain? Alcohol and meth and ecstasy. And that just became the norm for me. If I played a show, I'd just get off my head and then I'd be able to do it. But then I was kind of just wild on stage, just probably embarrassing my bandmates and myself, and just in my head just trying to be that rock star kind of dude, but not really paying any kind of thought into what it was doing to my health or mental health or stuff like that. Now Double Dragon, we were quite serious about it. Before we know it, we're kind of getting bigger and bigger, putting out albums, and the stakes are getting higher. We're doing support acts with some kind of famous heavy metal bands, like for example Slayer and Megadeth, and I'm at this stage really not behaving well and struggling to maintain my behaviour in relationships. Not many people are putting up with that kind of stuff for me. And then adding that into, epic come downs from going on tour. Trying to deal with the lies that I'd be saying about, was I, to my girlfriends at the time, was I taking drugs, was I hanging out with this kind of females, or even though I wasn't really like someone that was into groupies and stuff like that, I was always more into the drug kind of scene, staying up and drinking. I think mainly because I loved probably the attention from people. And so when my partners would inevitably break up with me, I'd just end up in this depression, write songs about it, and then just take more drugs. And I just kept in this cycle for ages. Ages and ages I was in this cycle. And It was always everybody else's fault. But I'm getting older by this stage. I'm approaching my 30s and 40s, and eventually my mental state just took, the abuse that I'd done to my mind and body. I just couldn't take it anymore, and the band broke down, and then I was trying to adjust to normal life, like outside of touring and stuff like that, and unfortunately I just kept drinking at home. Had another relationship breakdown, which this time wasn't to do with the band. It was because my mood was just so all over the place all the time. I was so erratic.
So she's getting dropped up.
Always kind of just anxious and I guess controlling. Very, very quick to anger. And yeah, like people that I really cared about, I wasn't able to express that in the right way, because I just had all these issues from a life of abusing my body. So then it came to, I was about 37 years old. And I by this stage I had like full-blown depression. And had terrible thoughts, including questioning whether it's all worth it. And people around me were getting very concerned, like my mum and close friends and family. Ended up going to see a doctor who diagnosed me with having depression, and he actually gave me some terrible advice, which was to give me prescribe me SSRIs, which actually made me worse than I've ever been, in terms of like being depressed. Oops, sorry. I'll put them over around here. And once I got off them, I really started to do some research into depression and what it was, and really starting to fix things up in my life, like quitting alcohol completely, quitting cigarettes. Ended up meeting my now wife, who was a real massive encouragement for me, who encouraged me to find God and get clean, like really, really clean. And once I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes, life just kind of opened up for me in a whole new way. It was almost like I had freedom. I wasn't, my whole life wasn't revolving around buying cigarettes or smoking weed or drinking to numb my pain. And the actual freedom that I found in that was so rewarding. Even just things like my scooter's not working here. Yeah, things like what's going on with the scooter here, guys? Must not like this area. People are looking at me weird, like I shouldn't be riding the scooter down here. There's no signs. Keep on scooting. I'm going to push this thing in my leg. But yeah, the freedom, even just like driving a car without worrying about going through the breathos or getting done for smoking weed and driving, or just being able to pick up my friends if they need it. I loved being like reliable for people. Yeah, something's going on with the scooter here. looks like a blocker on it. Man. Okay. Scooter wants to work again now. But yeah, it was awesome. And I honestly wish I knew about this freedom earlier in life, because I would have done things so much differently. I definitely would have been there for my family a lot more. I would have been a better friend. But in the flip side to all this, I don't regret it 100%, because if I didn't have this particular journey of mine, I wouldn't have met my wife when I did. And honestly, meeting her was, sounds corny, but I'd go through that whole hell again any day. Wow, look at this art, man. That's awesome. The street art in Darwin is unbelievable. So yeah, if you're struggling with mental health, if you're struggling with the way you're feeling about yourself, have a look at what you're putting into your body. That would be the first thing. If that doctor of mine actually was brave enough and honest, he would have said to me, "Hey mate, stop drinking, stop smoking cigarettes, stop smoking weed, sort your shit out, and you might feel better." It's not really rocket science. But if you live a certain way and you poison your body all the time, alcohol and these things, like, they're just happiness. You're just borrowing happiness from tomorrow for tonight. And this is something I say all the time. And if you're the stronger dose of happiness that you're going to borrow from, the more you're going to be without it. And I don't know why my doctor didn't have the courage to tell me that. Just like, mate, just stop drinking. Stop smoking C's and weed, and you'll probably feel a whole lot better. And you might make better choices. And I think that's the main thing that I've discovered is just making choices without all that kind of poison in your brains. You're really able to make the choices that best suit you, instead of just going along with the flow or trying to impress other people. You just kind of do whatever's best for your own self and own self-preservation. So anyway, I hope this worked. I'm worried that the wind might be affecting the audio, but if it's okay, I'll post it anyway. And this is Darwin, man. I've just cruised through the streets of Darwin here, sweating. sweating hard. Peace.